We are the people, defying the odds, cause it ain't even. Fighting for freedom, given by God, he say we equal. Fly like an eagle, this for the heroes, up in the helos, and down in the valley. Fighting the battles, fearing no evil. This is for infantry, out with a squad. Troopers and towers for hours they watch. Striving in combos, the sky for bombs. All they protect all their fathers and moms. When do they call? This is for liberty, justice for all. We are the people, together we strong, and I will catch you when you fall.
We all will fall and hide away. We can't get to our feet. We all been grinding every day to find opportunity. We all get lost along the way, not knowing who to be. We are the people. We are the people.
Calling us fascists. What have we done in order to afford these anger reactions? Pages that come in our colors is gorgeous. Sick of the madness. The devil he plucking our youth like a florist. Gotta combat this. Evil is currently making its orbit. Never been a black and white war. Truth is what we have to fight for. What you think I grabbed the mic for? Time to say what we need to say. God our Father, he should be the head. Lead the people while the demons fled. Underneath we all bleeding red.
We all will fall and hide away. We can't get to our feet. We all been grinding every day to find opportunity. We all get lost along the way, not knowing who to be. We are the people. We are the people.
Get the feeling at the end of a rope. Double them all, but we end up broken into the foe with my head so low. But I never leave without hope. Get a venom in the bottle, do not follow in. What do I know? I the feeling of a boat. Telling you forget about them, all the venom in and that I'm all to live around and knowing that I won't. Be your float, almost gave in I wrote this. If you pick this brain, it was hopeless. Let me get this aim in a ricochet. Get a big the flame, but I woke this. Every day you get up and I'm looking at myself and I'm finding I'm out of focus. Everyone around me and I gotta be the people and the people gotta be me, but I never know.
Welcome to the third hour of the TCRMI 24-hour fundraiser to bring awareness to our veterans who struggle with PTSD and losing hope. I'm Philip Jones, your live stream co-host for the hour, and my connection with veterans is my father was in the U.S. Air Force. My uncle as well was also in the U.S. Air Force. My grandfather was in the U.S. Army, served in World War II. My uncle served in the Vietnam War. I have a number of cousins as well that were in the Army, and a cousin that's currently in the Army.
And I'm Tafaro Cook, your live stream co-host for an hour. And my connection with veterans are three of my best friends were in the Marines. My father-in-law was in the Army. My cousin was in the Navy. I had two other cousins in the Air Force, so the list goes on. So, yes.
This event, which runs until 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, October 8th, brings awareness of the programs TCRMI has and the collaborations we've made with other organizations and how we help veterans gain hope while living with PTSD. If you would like to donate, you could do so by going on a link below. That's in the ticker, and also the comments. I'll post it there in a second. Tiny URL / Hope for Vets, or to donate by check, you can make it out to Camaraderie Rescue Mission Inc. and mail it to Greg Bicknell, U.S. Air Force, retired 1532 Courtgrass, Lakeland, Florida 33813. We so appreciate your donations. Every dollar counts and changes lives.
Over these 24 hours, there will be a live stream shows going on with supporters and veterans sharing their stories and organizations that help make a difference in our veterans' lives. And let us know where you are tuning in from all around the world. So we appreciate you showing up today.
TCRMI is a veteran organization that was founded by Mr. Greg Bicknell, who is a retired Air Force veteran after serving 29 years. Mr. Bignall had brain surgery that did not go well, and the result was to be medically discharged. In his journey, he realized that he needed help after having suicidal ideations, and after getting up the courage to ask for help, he was told to make an appointment.
That lit a fire under Mr. Bignell and was the driving force to start TCRMI so that no one else would have to endure, being put on a waiting list once they decide to reach out for help. TCRMI exists to vitalize and enrich the mental, physical, and spiritual and emotional health of active military and veterans, first responders, and the communities they serve.
Dorothy Odell and her friend Tim Stone decided to come alongside TCRMI due to her love of helping her veteran family and knowing that 28 veterans a day die by suicide, that something needs to change. She had Mr. Bignell on her Monday night show, Unstoppable Overcomers, January 31st of 2022, episode number 44. If you want to check it out on our YouTube channel, Unstoppable Overcomers.
Dorothy and Tim have done another 24-hour live stream fundraiser for cancer. So we thought, why not help veterans? So here we are. Dorothy and her business partner, Kimberly, are on fire to help TCRMI grow and help save veterans' lives.
So that is why we're all here today.
Show up.
To change lives.
Dorothy and Kimberly also serve on the board of TCRMI and are here to make a difference.
There are hundreds of veterans and first responders struggling with hope and feeling lost.
Each person's story is different. Each person is impacted in different ways, as we have discovered on Unstoppable Overcomers. TCRMI is always hard at work with its many programs, including Just Coffee and Camaraderie.
Now, I would like to introduce to you Blum of Veterans for Worship, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Business, and Project Transition USA. But before we get to Pete, I'd like to introduce to you Greg Bignall.
Is it my turn? It's my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right, man. Hey, Tifro, man, I tell you what, when I saw you come on, we know each other from somewhere. You look familiar. I think we've for some way, somehow we've crossed paths because you look too familiar. And then Philip, I heard your story today, man. You've inspired me, man. You're rocking it. And I just love the fact that you're on here doing this, man. You guys, I appreciate you because time is valuable. And you guys are out there on the. Are you on the West Coast too, Tifro?
I'm in Tafaro, and I'm in Florida. I'm in Tampa.
Oh, you're in Florida. Okay, so you up late. Philip's out there just chilling on the West Coast, right? You out there in California? Is that where you're at? All right.
Yes,
so
sir. Los Angeles.
Okay, outstanding. I was stationed out there for a while. So this is a deal. I love this. I love what it's all about. Pete and I met a while back. We actually met when he was becoming the new president of the chapter president for Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses over in Tampa. And we kind of met it off because I stood up and I think one of the things he's going to talk about Veterans for Worship, and God's the one that put me in here in this place tonight. It's the thing that made me kind of walk away from a career in the civilian sector, that kind of a rat race. But it was one of those things that, I met Pete, we started clicking, we had some few ventures together, but this tonight is really, Camaraderie Rescue Mission and Heroes, Badges, and Wars, the initiative that we're doing is about bringing folks together. And, in that situation, we had 24 hours. What I really want to do is I want to give other people the opportunity to come on here and talk about what they do. And then if we can, going forward, we work out some more collaborations, or we work out some more how I can help. So at the end of the day, man, it's not just about us tonight. It's about you guys, because you're getting a chance, you're volunteering your time to come on here. So if I can support you guys, we can support you guys. We want to keep doing that because I want to do these, again, maybe here in the future, if I can talk Dorothy into doing it. Hey, Denise. And then Pete, I'm going to cut it over to you. So you said something a minute ago. You said, how was it? I'm trying to remember. You said something about Marines. They were a Marine Pete will tell you that once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine, because Pete's an old jarhead himself, and I look there and I know that Pete is a Marine still. He keeps me straight sometimes, and I just appreciate everything he does. So Pete, I'm going to shut up now, which you're probably happy about. I'm just playing. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But I'm just having fun, y'all. I am up. I got a lot of coffee in me, 2 or 3 of these bad boys. So Pete, man, just tell us what you got, man. You're part of so much stuff that we could probably run the entire show just on the things that you're a part of. And you're an amazing person, amazing human being. I'm just glad you decided to come on. So thank you so much to all 3 of you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Greg, it's a pleasure to be on, for sure. And anything to help veterans, that's what I'm all about. And, we all have a mission in life, and I just think that coming together to raise funds to support some of these things, like PTSD and all that kind of stuff is just really a thing that needs to be done. There's much too much of it out there. And so while we're talking about all that today, I try to contribute every way I can. So it's a pleasure to be on, and I'm looking forward to the conversation today.
Awesome. So yeah, man. So Pete, one of the things that actually really kind of impressed. I'm sorry, I'll take over if y'all let me. I'm just going to tell y'all that now. I'm so sorry. I'll sit back here. But Pete, could you tell us a little bit about the Veterans for Worship? I think that's something. I'm sorry, I'm going to sit back here, but I'm so excited about Pete because he got so much to offer that I'm like, man, I'll be over here if y'all need me. All right, I'll try to stay out of it. This is y'all show. Pete, I'm here if you need me. Right. Cut me off.
Hey, Greg, you're more than welcome.
Put the mute on.
Yeah. So, basically, you got to start at the beginning, though, Greg. So, obviously, I joined the military, and I served in the military. Went in at 17. My father was a Marine. He's still a Marine, obviously. He was a Marine, always a Marine, but I decided to go in because somebody in high school, my best friend, said, "Hey, let's do this." My dad was can get me out of the house because he thought all I was going to do was be a bookworm the rest of my life. So here I'm taking a really different turn, and he didn't have to kick me out of the house. But anyway, went in the Navy first, served 4 years, got an honorable discharge, then decided to go back home, and after 4 years, wasn't really much for a parachute rigger to do in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I ended up coming back in and went into the Marines instead. Served 7 years in the Marine Corps. And one of the things that I can say that really starts this whole journey, talk about, just the stress and the anxiety and the depression that veterans and their families run into. It's because of the transition. When you transition out of the military, you kind of are on your own. You feel alone. A lot of things start happening there that can lead you down a wrong path. It may have happened to you in the military that causes PTSD, or any of those other things like traumatic brain injury. So that's kind of where I started. I served until 1998, and I got out. And it started right then. You get out of this and you try to figure things out. And in the civilian world, things are so much different. It took a while to find the right job. I did a lot of struggle in just trying to do that. That first year out of the military, had 7 different jobs. Trying to find the right organization that believes in veterans and actually stands behind them, and just understanding what jobs are really about. The military, when you get out of there, they don't teach you any of that. You don't know any of that. And so that transition is very hard. So that's kind of where it all started. And I could talk about Veterans for Worship. I'll tell you all the things that I'm doing. It started on one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, and Veterans for Worship is kind of in the center. That was like the second real thing that I got involved with. It's one of the things that I'm most passionate about. I feel like that the thing is that there's tons and tons of organizations that are trying to help veterans find jobs and all that kind of stuff. But through the time of separating and feeling alone, and that's what people, they get lost. And so one of the things that when they get lost is, they need to find something. And a lot of times what helps them through is finding their faith. And so Veterans for Worship is an organization that is there for them while we're in the military, used to having a chaplain the whole entire time. They're used to, no matter where they're deployed, there's somebody that they can go to. There's some place where they can worship. And, you get out of the military and sure, there are churches everywhere. And I've been to a few different churches and they're usually awesome. But the thing about it is, a lot of times they're not specialized to understand veterans. And, veterans have been through things that most people might not have been through. And so having a community, a ministry of veterans for Veterans for Worship, what we do is we have that chapel and how things feel familiar, who understands the lingo, who understands what you've been through, who can help you find a community, that are the Christians that you're looking for, that you want to become part of, direct you to the right church, help you find the resources, all those many, many things. And so Veterans for Worship started in state, and Debbie Mond she's active and she is the founder of Veterans for Worship. So through a podcast, which is great because you gentlemen, and I read about that. It's awesome that the positive spirit that you're putting out there from what you both have been through, and you're passing that along and helping others. And that's the whole thing about it. Is I was doing a podcast a few years ago to try to help. I've done actually a couple different ones, and I interviewed the founder of Veterans for Worship, Debbie Mond, and she came on and I learned about it. And it's those things when it's right for you, you want to out and you want to make things grow. We stayed in touch. Part of this organization launched a Tampa chapter, and so I'm leading the Tampa chapter down here, and we're really trying to grow that. So that's one of the great things is to say that if you want that up, you want that networking with your community of Christians and veterans, you can be welcome here in anywhere in the nation, from all the way from Washington state all the way down to Tampa, Florida. So we kind of have you covered, and there's a few other locations that are growing as well, and so that's one thing that I'm really passionate about. And so I'll pause there in case you guys got any questions. There is so much more that we could talk about.
There is one question from Tim. He said, Pete, what inspired you to join the Marines?
So I mentioned when I went back to Cincinnati, Ohio, there was nothing for a parachute rigger to do. So what inspired me to join the Marines is when I went back into recruiter and said, hey, I think I want to go back. And they said, you know what? We filled all the slots. We need anybody in that job right now. And so I looked across the hall with the Marine recruiter. And I said, hey, this is what I do. Can you help me out? And they said, absolutely. We have that exact same job, but really a category of 7. I ended up in logistics doing something completely different. But I'll tell you what, I love it. Logistics is a great job. You pack everybody up and you get them on the boat, you get deployment, and then you kind of are, you get to hang out until it's time to pack up and go again. So I think I got a pretty sweet spot.
Hey, somebody's trying to set me up. What I'm going to say. Somebody's trying to set me up because when you ask a question like, Pete, what inspired you to join the Marines? They were expecting me, an Air Force guy, to jump on it and start talking about crayon eaters and all that stuff. But I'm not going to do that because I'm too good to do that. I'm not going to talk about crayon eaters and HAZMAP scores and all that snake eaters. I'm not going to do it, Pete. I'm not going to do it. All right. I just wanted to, they're setting me up. They were setting you up. I just want to put it out there, and I'm just not going to do it. All right. I'm back over here in the corner if y'all need me.
So Greg, so you got to know this then. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, you can finish your statement. My question for you is, between both the Navy and the Marines, what places were you stationed at?
Sure. So I've been in a lot of different countries, actually. I started off in the Navy in the Philippines, and I actually served all 4 years there. Learned a little bit of another language, which was cool. And it was after those 4 years that I decided to come back. And I'll tell you why. I got to be stationed shore duty the whole time there. That means I was on the island, didn't have to leave. It was an absolute great duty. Got to hang out, have fun, do my job, and it was great. So right after you're on shore duty, the next thing that they do is they want to put you on sea duty. They got to alternate that back and forth because not everybody wants to stay on the ship all the time, right? So we're going to alternate.
Right.
So I thought, well, I don't want to go on a ship, so I'm going to go now. It seemed like a pretty good time. That was my initial reason for wanting to get out of the Navy and come back. Not to mention I had gotten married, so I was young and married and didn't want to be on a ship, after just getting married. And so then I joined the Marine, mentioned, and after training and becoming a logistician instead of a repair, I got everything done. And the very first duty station that they sent me to, the first thing they did was send me on a ship. So it was karma, right? That's how it works sometimes. And Greg, to answer to comment on what I know you're underhandedly trying to tell me that I should go eat crayons because that's just the way branches of the service are. We like to have fun with each other, and that's okay. But I'm going to inspire you a little bit because there was a Marine out there. He's out there now, and I'll let you go search find him. But he took that to the next level. He actually has created a company that makes crayons that you can run and that you can eat as well because they're made out of chocolate. You want to go find some Marines eating crayons? There's a guy that makes them for you.
There ain't no self-respecting Marine gonna eat no chocolate crayons. They want the original waxy flavor. Come on, Pete.
Right.
That's all right though. I'll get those for snacks at the next retreat we do. We'll make sure that we get them some nutritional value, or at least get some antioxidants out of their system. I know about that stuff.
Hey Pete, I got a question for you. When you joined the Marines, did you have to go through basic training all over again?
Yes, but let me tell you, it's so much more fun. The Navy boot camp is kind of like, they talked about, you got breaks, Coke and smoke. You could have your soda, you could cigarette, and it was more like a summer camp, really. Sorry for the Navy guys that might be listening, or gals. But when I went through, that's kind of how it was. And then you go in the Marine Corps, and they're like, I'm sorry, I don't accept anything else from anybody else, and you got to do it all over again. And not to mention they put you in the gas chamber and do all that fun stuff. And gosh, I kind of miss it. I wish I could go back there and do it again. And that was really, really a lot of fun. So
awesome.
So
I'll tell you a little bit about something else if you don't mind. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, so I talked about, up to the point of getting out, got out in 1998, told you about how hard it is, to find a job. And I think the biggest thing is that it's really knowing the right people and connecting. Another one of the things that's great about things like this is we can all learn about each other. We can grow with one another. We can help each other, lift each other up. Make that introduction to somebody that can, give us our next greatest, most wonderful opportunity and stuff like that. So we have a network and we have a community right here, and that's actually how veterans like it's like brothers and sisters, and we all care about each other. And it's really important to keep that going. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we try to teach people that are transitioning. So where my volunteering started was with Project Transition USA, and that's basically a LinkedIn workshop on MacDill Air Force Base. We teach the transitioning military veterans and spouses. They come to that class, and we teach them how to use LinkedIn to network, how to find jobs, how to connect with people, how to search, and just every single thing to do to help them be successful. And the biggest thing that puts people in, stress and anxiety and depression is when, you've got a critical point coming at you like that, where you're getting out and starting over, just trying to learn things, and then you go. So what do? You start searching on Google, you find Monster, you find Indeed.com, and you start searching for a job in there, and then, nobody ever responds. You don't know anything. And people are like, yeah, nobody wants me, I don't understand why. I was a senior enlisted, or I was like an officer or something, and they felt really important in the military. And then you get out and you feel like you're not important, and nobody wants you. And so what we teach them in this transition class is that that's not the problem. The problem is that for all of us, any one of us, not even just veterans, but if we're out there looking for a new opportunity, if you go to Indeed or Monster or whatever, all those things, it goes into a black hole, and that's called an applicant tracking system, right? So it goes in there, and it's in a computer, in a database, and no one ever sees you. They don't see your information. You don't even come up for light of day unless somebody types words, and then you pop up there, and now here you are. Now they'll be like, okay, now we'll call you, now we'll email you. And so that's what people don't understand. And so that's what we teach the veterans and their families when they come to this transition class. We teach them how to actually, connect and actually have that communication to where, you're not falling into that black hole, and where you can really find what it is you're looking for. And that way you reduce the stress and the anxiety. There's no depression. We don't want people out here committing suicide because they're doing the things the wrong way, and then they think nobody wants them. So that's a big part of it. So that's what Project Transition USA is all about. And that's been a great thing to every month and volunteer to be part of that organization. And the reason that I did that after being military for 1998 was out the world, they laid off. So maybe for whatever, lots of reasons, but one of the big reasons is that maybe they're trying to save money, struggling. Maybe they're trying to do something for their stockholders, and so basically, that's an issue. So when you don't want that to happen to help protect them and funnel, and I basically got caught in one of those layoffs. 150 people at the company I was at all got laid off, and we're all out there looking for work at the same time. And so that's the kind of thing that people struggle with. So that's why it's important. LinkedIn is a wonderful tool, and you've got to keep networking, because you never know when that next coming is. As they say, it's always easiest to find a job looking for ones. So
right.
If you're in your networking, you just might reach out and go, "Hey, buddy, come on over here. Come on over here. We got something we need you to do." And so I want to just give a shout out to the founder of Project Transition USA is Nancy Lane. And her father was a chaplain in the military, and that's why she desires to serve veterans so much. And her website is projecttransitionusa.com. And we already talked about Veterans for Worship, and that URL is veteransforworship.net. And I'll pause a minute in case you want to ask any other questions, and then we can talk about the Florida Association of Veterans in a few minutes.
Well, I do want to say, let the people know again, if you'd like to donate, you can do so by going to tinyurl.com/Hope for Vet, or donate by check. You can make it out to Camaraderie Rescue Mission, Inc., and mail it to Greg Bignell, U.S. Air Force, retired 1532 Cordgrass Way, Lakeland, Florida 338113. I think I might have put one extra one in there. Let me know. Was that correct, Greg, or did I think I added an extra number?
No, it's good. It's 33813. In there is an extra one, and you don't necessarily have to put that. Chief Master Sergeant retired. You know what I mean? I go out there and look at my mailbox. I like seeing that. I don't. That's not mandated these days. You know what I mean? But Pete, I do. Can I ask Pete a question real quick?
Absolutely.
With the Project Transition, with the Project Transition USA. Now that's been going on for quite some time. How many times have y'all done that now? I know it's quite, I remember seeing the numbers like triple digits or something. How many times have y'all done the Project Transition USA?
Yeah, I've actually been part of it for 7 years, and it was even going on before that. So it might be closer to 10 years that it's been going on. And, it's like, except for during COVID, it's basically been one workshop a month all that time. So I think there's been we just did our 106th workshop on MacDill Air Force Base, and there's been a few workshops in other places. They have gone to a couple other bases at special request, and we're trying to spread that mission out as well. and hopefully we can teach that on every out there, because they all need to have the proper training when they get out of the military. The TAPS program is great. I mean, there didn't used to be a TAPS program at all. But when you talk about things like LinkedIn, usually it might be a half an hour or an hour, and it's not really enough to cover everything. And so we do a full 9 to 4 full day workshop, like drinking from a fire hose, but lots of fun.
That's amazing. Like I said, over time, I think my LinkedIn profiles evolved, but man, I think in the beginning I was just trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what to do, and then you get to see, you realize exactly what you're missing out of your own when you start seeing other people. It's like, ooh, I'd hire that guy, and then you go back and look at, I'd go back and look at mine and be like, ooh, I wouldn't hire that guy. Like, oh, hang on, that was me. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got to church this up a little bit. So, but anyway, yeah, no, thank you for that. That's just awesome. 10 years of doing that for vets. I mean, for someone like me, that was, I was at the peak of my career. And then when I went to transition, I was at 29 years. To go through something like that, to get something churched up, and make it look really good, to be able to go out there and tell an employer something I was proud of. Look at my profile. That was great. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, and then I did the Veterans for Worship. I've been doing that it's been almost 3 years now, and I started out as just trying to start a chapter down here in Greater Tampa Bay, as I mentioned, but then I've also become the vice chair of the organization and the chief of staff. So I'm really committed in something like that. And somewhere in that time frame, in the last almost 3 years, I felt the calling to become a pastor or a chaplain, whatever you want to call it. And I thought that was going to be easy, but found out it takes a heck of a lot more work to make that happen as well. So that's on my back burner of things that I'm working on. And I mentioned, trying to find a job. It's great, and there's definitely a need out there, in the world, in our nation. But I wanted to go down on that deeper level, and try to really help somebody, when it comes to their heart and their spirit, and when it comes to struggling. And when COVID happened, it took what was already a problem with veterans, and it made it worse, because they already felt alone, but now it's COVID, and now they're completely isolated. They can't get out, they can't talk to anybody, they can't even go to the VFW and hang out, or the American Legion or whatever, right? So over this time period, and trying to be committed to what I want to do, I got certified as a mental health life coach in order to try to help veterans and others with stuff like substance abuse or mental health issues or other disorders. So trying to get them up out of that bad place and get them on a solid ground. And then I also became Maxwell Leadership Certified to really try to help people grow and become more successful in their life journeys. And so we're trying to combine those two things and make it something wonderful, something powerful. And so that's kind of where I've been at with all that. And then on top of that, then I got recruited into the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses. And that's what, like Greg said, that's where we met. But before I start talking about those guys, anybody else have any questions that they want to ask about anything so far?
I definitely want to put out the challenge that Mark Lee issued out to everyone. The first person that donates $500, he will give a show on this station to. He'll help you develop it, and it'll be specifically for veterans. And it's I think it's a win-win. You know, you get your own show to be able to help veterans in a number of different ways, and you get to donate to veterans to help them. So you're kind of helping them in two different ways. Being able to let them come on your show, whatever issues they're dealing with, get some, do some venting, get some things off their chest, and also donating to help them fight these battles that they're dealing with, PTSD, and just kind of losing hope. So thanks, Mark, for that wonderful offer. We appreciate you. Um, Greg, Mr. Cook, you got any questions?
I just want to say for that that offer with $500 and all you received, that's a lot you received for $500 to do your own podcast and things and have somebody direct it for you. So that's a wonderful deal right there. I just wanted to comment on that.
Yeah, I was on. If y'all have never watched, if you've ever seen Mark's show, you see just how amazing it is. At the beginning, I started watching it, and I was getting into it because he was showing all these different. Because it goes around the world. His is not just right there local, right? You know, and some of the things. And then I gotta be on there, and what a great host. You know, it was just kind of cool to see his skill set. And we brought in folks. We got a guy in there from Australia. We had an Air Force, another Air Force guy in there. Then we had a guy that was getting ready to do some electric car EV stuff this weekend, so it's kind of cool. And he was able to smash it, put it all together where it made sense, and so I thought that was just really cool. But Pete, you got so many skill sets. Like I said, we can make a whole show. But the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, I think that's something that's growing, down here, and a part of that has been, Pete working the Tampa area, and then, other folks that are working the other areas, and they're growing new chapters and all that stuff. But I'm signed up and I joined that organization because, when you need some assistance, sometimes to be able to speak the civilian lingo, it's something that, it takes some doing. And so help me out here, Pete. He wrote the book, How to Speak Civilian, Dr. Doc Wright. So Doc Wright over at Vets to PM, He wrote this book. He's one of the plank members of FAVOB, and he wrote this book. I think it's called How to Speak Civilian. And so I am plugging his book. He's not on here, but that kind of came out because it is a great book. You know what I mean? And he has a great organization. I went through Vets to PM before I got out, and it's about how to be a project manager, to get your PMP, and to get some other certification. And Kathy Micklett, they're actually part of the Skill Bridge program now too. That's in the state of Florida. So if someone within 6 months of retirement is looking to get out, they can go and do an internship and get paid their actual paycheck that they get from the military, and the company they go work with, gets a person that they can train and decide whether or not they want to keep them in, or they can't put them in charge. It is an internship, but it's a win-win for both sides because now folks that have known the military their whole life can do that. And that's kind of some of the opportunities that FABOB connects people up with. So not only do you have an organization, a guy that's a very significant member, he's already been helping. Now he's part of FABOB, and he also has an organization that's able to connect veterans to jobs or to internships at the end of a long career. So great opportunity. It's called Skill Bridge. And if anybody vets are out there looking for that, the Skill Bridge thing, look it up. It's really, really nice, and it's a way to get to actually truly realize what your skill set provides to the civilian companies, right? And the companies get to actually see, I don't understand what flight chief or commander, or I don't understand that, but when I see this person at work and I know they can run a team like nobody's business, well, guess what? I know exactly where I'm going to put them now. And so take advantage of that and spread the word. Skill Bridge is a great opportunity.
100% agree. It didn't used to be out there. It wasn't available. And I think the greatest thing is that, it's like interning basically. So getting out at any different company that's willing to take on from the Skill Bridge program can get out there, get that 3 to 6 months of experience, find out if they like it, if it's for them. Military's still paying you. Only caveat really is that the command has to approve it to let you do that. And some commands will, some commands won't. It just depends on how important they think your job is and whether they think they can let you go or not. So, but I would recommend every single person that's getting out of the military do that. It's a great advantage. And if you think you like something and you find out in 6 months from the internship that you don't like it, you have those 6 months to try to kind of peek around and see what else is out there while you're doing it. So then, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses. It's really a great thing. They have it in Greater Tampa Bay. We're actually still in building mode. Started it. We've been running it since March of this year. We're growing. We're looking for more people. So there's positions to fill. There's volunteer work to be done. So there's definitely open opportunities. The whole goal of the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses is really it's creating opportunity for veteran business owners so that they can thrive and be much, much more successful. and a whole bunch of different ways. But they came up with this cool acronym so people can kind of try to remember it. And it's GI CAN, and everybody knows GI. That's like military guys. So GI CAN, and that stands for galvanize, inform, connect, advocate, network, and those are different steps that people can do. And what are some of those steps? We have networking events where people can come to them and learn. So there's all these networking opportunities in all the different chapters across the state, educational opportunities where you can come and learn and gain some knowledge of different things that we're talking about. We have legislative events where we're trying to do great changes, for veterans in the state of Florida and give them more opportunities, and just different things like that. And so right now we're still growing, but there are 5 different chapters in the state of Florida. We got the Greater Tampa Bay, Orlando, Space Coast, the Panhandle, and Jacksonville. Jacksonville. So those are all the ones we have now, and we still got some more planned. And I know we're going to grow in 2023. We have 350 plus members right now, and there are just so many more businesses in the state of Florida that we're trying to get them all to be part of that network, help each other, use each other's services. There's a great database out there of all the veteran-owned companies that we have that can be available for other people. And when I came on board, one of the things that I tried to do was to really be impactful and make it work from end to end. So creating partnerships with other organizations is something that I did. I took that project Transition USA that's teaching transitioning veterans on MacDill Air Force Base how to get out, how to, find a career. Well, partnering up with the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, when you take those two things and put them together, you've got the talent that companies are looking for, and out here you've got the companies that are wanting to hire, and a lot of veterans want to work for a veteran-owned company, so there's a perfect match there. Additionally, veteran-owned businesses provide great mentors for anyone getting out of the military because they've been through it already. They've dealt with the issues and the challenges, and so they can mentor those. And then there's even that piece of, what if they want to get a job and they say, okay, that's one way to do things. I can work for someone else. But what we've realized is that about half the people that get out of the military say, no, I'm tired of working for Uncle Sam. I'm tired of working for somebody else. I want to start my own company. And so there's a lot of people that want to become entrepreneurs. And so, if there's already veteran-owned businesses out there, they can mentor them for that as well. And we have another company, it's called Action Zone, that's here in Greater Tampa Bay. And it's like a veteran accelerator. So we get people coming from Project Transition USA, going through the Veteran Business Accelerator at Action Zone, and then, coming right into becoming a member or a trustee of the Florida Association of Veteran Business. So we've got a complete solid pipeline that goes both ways, helping out, veterans, helping prevent stress, anxiety, depression. When people are successful, when they're happy, they don't think about suicide. And so that's a lot of what we're talking about here is, mental health, wellness, people being okay. And I feel like, through these different things that I'm doing, Project USA, Veterans Worship, and the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, that in this area, at least, I'm trying to make a difference and accomplish a goal of really helping people. And just want to keep it up. And if you, Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, their website is favob.net. So that's basically just the initials, FAVOB.net. And the other one was probably too long. So, working with a bunch of great people there. Each chapter has great people. The president of FAVOB, Stu Smith, fantastic, Army guy. So, love working with veterans, and a lot of people do. And so, yeah, we're all here to help. And the greatest thing that we could communicate to anyone watching, to any veteran that needs help, who is struggling or anything like that, is there's a whole world out here of a network of people and veterans and families and organizations that will help you, that can help you. And the only thing that's ever holding you back is you have to ask. Sometimes you gotta just swallow your pride and say, I need help. And then you would be surprised at the hundreds of people that would be willing to help you in a moment's notice.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Hey, that was good. That was a good breakdown. I think it. So I appreciate it. Like what you've been doing, you lay all that out for FAVOB, because the big part of it is I was going to make that connection earlier, and I'm glad you did, because you found that place to where folks needed to be able to transition, and then you found a place where they could transition to. And you maybe didn't find it, you didn't discover it, but you're able to network two organizations that do that. And that's kind of in line. The reason I bring that up, guys, is because that's kind of what we're doing here tonight. Is we're hoping somebody will see something, there's a need we can fix, we can maybe get some veterans some resources they didn't have otherwise, somebody hadn't have donated. But we also we're expanding our collective group of people that we now have FaceTime with, right? And I think that's great because it's all about connections. Once you get connected, it's always easy. I can call up Philip, and I've been on a few shows today together and back and forth. But now I know him. Like I feel like I do anyway. You know what I mean? And I know his story. And that makes me feel like I know him a little better. And so if I need some help, or I'm going to be out in Cali, I'm down by LA and my car blows a tire, I'm going to be like, hey, Philip, guess what? You got a roommate tonight, bro. So pack it up, scoot over. So, no, I'm just saying, but that's what it's about, right? That's what we do in the military. We take care of each other. In this situation, when you get to know each other, you really get a chance to do that and spread your wings a little bit and get to know folks. So I appreciate what you're doing there, Steve. And you guys, man, I tell you, I just can't thank the streamers enough tonight for what y'all done. They just jumped on, I started asking people like, I got this. Philip was asking to jump on another show today. We got to be on there together on Mark Lee's amazing job. I'm sure Philip will attest to that. And so it's just been fun. So, but anyway, it's this is just, it makes me happy, man. It ain't about making me happy, but it's about helping the folks that we're all here to reach. And folks, if you need something, just like Pete, if there's something we can help you with on the backside of this, the organization, we can set up something like this for FAVOB or Veterans for Warspite and all that, let us know. And I'll talk to these guys. I'll talk to Dorothy. Dorothy going to shoot me. Tim's going to be like, uh-oh, look out. Greg's going to get me in trouble. I'm already in trouble. But anyway, I just want to throw it out there. I appreciate you guys. I didn't want to let the hour go out without saying it. Seriously, this means so much to me, and it's going to mean so much to people that are going to see these shows and then maybe reach out in a way than what we've done before.
Well, thank you for giving us the opportunity, to support veterans. We really appreciate that. And thank you, veterans, for all that you do. If it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here living this best life that we are. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it's good, man. So Pete, what's the next big thing in store? What does FAVOB have coming up? You're always having these. I get these emails and stuff that says, hey, we're about to have this big networking event. And then I sign up for them and I can't make it because I got this thing called a job now. So I was working in full time, doing this nonprofit. And then I got offered a fantastic job with Chapter Health Systems. And so I can't ever make it to Orlando or wherever in time when the day's over, but man.
Yeah. The next event for the members and trustees and other people that might be interested in becoming part of the organ. In Greater Bay chapter, it's going to be on 10/26. So that's the last Wednesday of this month. And I'm posting about it shortly. Probably send out something over the weekend.
Awesome.
So, I do want to say, if you donated in the past 50 minutes, please drop that in the chat. We'd love to shout you out and recognize you for taking a step to bless these veterans and donate to them. If you know somebody that donated, but they may not be watching, drop their name in it as well, how much they donated. Again, we greatly appreciate your time and your efforts and things of that nature, donating to these veterans. So, Pete, my question for you is before we get out of here is, what was your ultimate reason for wanting to become a chaplain? Like, what was going through your mind at that specific time when you said, "That's what I want to do"?
Yeah, it's a good question, and you get invested in something enough, and you realize that the greatness of the impact and what can happen there. Um, anybody that's ever gone to church, you get that feeling when you go there, right? And it's like there's power in there, and there's power in people, and obviously we're more than two or three gather. God's with us there, and so I feel like that I was really focusing in on that and trying to be laser focused on how I want to help people, and it was about their heart and their soul, and everything else I think will come and fall into place. That right job, it'll fall into place eventually. uh, you know other troubles that you might be having, they'll fall into place eventually. But if you're not right with your heart and your soul, then you're just going to be stressed, or depressed, or whatever, for until that comes to whatever end that's going to come to. But working on it all the time, studying, reading, purposefully wanting to learn more and understand more. I was just in it, living it, and I just one day when I was driving, I got like the calling. It hit me, and all of a sudden I'm driving, and I'm like, wow, I'm just supposed to become a pastor. I'm supposed to be a chaplain for those people. And man, once that happened, I was like, I know I'm in the right place. I know I've been doing the right thing, and I just I just jump in and do it right away. And then I just found out it's a process. So it'll take a while, but I'm working on it. I do have a day job too. So Greg's talking about day jobs, right? We all got this day job that we're working, and we're trying to make a living and then make a difference in people's lives through our day job. And I certainly do that where I work as well. But yeah, these things that we all talked about tonight are all volunteer efforts. And so all we can do is pray that our day jobs keep us in what we need to do, so that we can continue to volunteer outside of that.
Awesome, awesome. Gentlemen, you have any more questions or comments?
I just thank you for giving me the opportunity to support. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like I said before, and I want to touch on something. This is not just for veterans; it's also for healthcare professionals. So, I just kind of want to take these last 8 minutes and just kind of show you the power that healthcare professionals, nurses, doctors, paramedics, um, that they hold in the love and support that they can give to a patient. So, real quick, I'd like myself and Mr. Cook to just kind of give a snippet of our story. I know I've told mine a number of times throughout the day. But real quick, I was diagnosed with CKD at 4 years old. Had a transplant. Went on dialysis at 16. Had a transplant at 17. And 20. 3 months after that rejection, I had an emergency brain surgery. It was a heparin-induced subdural hematoma. I faced a number of issues between that situation and when things started to kind of get better for me, which was around 2019. Um, and currently, I'm actually in the process of getting ready for open heart surgery. So I've had to call the paramedics. I've had hospital stays left and right these past 12 years. And like I said before, my main objective, honestly, is uh, to make nurses feel loved and welcome when they walk into my room. Because it's guaranteed they have had that one patient that just is, and I don't want to say getting on their nerves in a bad way, but it's just like every time they walk out the room they got to walk back. And like I said before, 9 times out of 10 it's that elderly person that's just maybe at the end of their rope, and they can't help it, they're in a lot of pain or they're suffering. things of that nature. And so when they come in my room, to make them smile, laugh, giggle, something to make them, when they go back in there, they have a different outlook on their job and how they do things. So, Mr. Cook, go ahead and give a little bit about your story, sir.
Yeah, I was a freshman in college, just turned 18 years old, and was on the football field, and I didn't feel well on the football field. From the football field to the hospital, they took me. Blood pressure was 215 over 115, and first thing they asked me was, did I have any kidney problems? Didn't know what kidneys were, so played the following 2 years of college football, and came back. They found out I had glomerulonephritis. So I'm just going to tell you a quick story of it. Received my first transplant in '96. From '96 to '07, I was on peritoneal dialysis and hemodialysis. I had over 32 surgeries, 2 kidney transplants. During that time when I was on dialysis, I owned my own fitness studio, and so I was a personal trainer, living in two worlds, personal training people and doing dialysis as well. So I started bridging the gap. So I started taking my exercise equipment to the dialysis center and started showing patients who were on dialysis how to exercise, and it started helping a lot of people. And then Ohio State University did a small documentary on me. Then National Geographic followed me to Johns Hopkins, where I was one of the first people to ever get the incompatible transplant. And they did a documentary on me also. It's called Emergency Transplant. Since then, since '07, I had my second transplant. I'm married. I'm doing wonderful. I started a business here in Tampa called Kidney Care Coaches, where we coach people with stage 3 to stage 5 kidney disease. We coach them on their nutrition, their exercise, coping mechanisms, and ways to stay strong while you're on kidney disease. So I'm truly blessed. Thank you for letting me give my little 2 cents of what I do, and thank you for letting me support.
Hey, no, that's awesome. That's great, man. I mean, you take something that's what I really love in these type of stories, or like this whole night is about folks that have had something happen and they did something, did something positive, and at the end of the day, like I said, this is a giving community. You don't come on a show late at night on a Friday night if you don't have the heart. You know what I mean? And Philip, Tifro, Pete, you guys, you have to have the heart to do it. The heart of a teacher, a heart of someone that just wants to give. The heart of God, and be there for others. And it really means something to me. Like I said, I it's great. But to come on here and do this, man, you guys have blessed me tonight beyond measure. It's just I got the bumps going right now. So I just appreciate what y'all do, man.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it also.
Yeah, and anybody that would like to connect can reach me on LinkedIn. That's where you can find me easy. It's linkedin.com/in/Pete Blum.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us this evening. Well, I know it's nighttime where you all are. It's only 6 o'clock out here on the West Coast, so I might go out and party or something. But next up in just a few moments at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, join Rush Johns be in conversation with Dr. Janal Royster and Mark Anderson of Simpler Modus and St. Pete Salt Works. You can find that on Rush John's LinkedIn, which is graciously put there by Tim in the comments. Please go over there and support them as well. Again, gentlemen, we greatly appreciate your time, your efforts, your love for your fellow veterans, and definitely a second chance, as long as as well as kidney care coaches at some point in the future when we get to that level, we will definitely be supporting veterans that you can. So again, thank you for joining us, and everybody have a wonderful night.
Hey,
God
and don't
bless.
forget, be an organ donor. Be an organ donor.
For
Definitely
sure.
be
Be
an
an
organ
organ donor. Saves
Be an
donor.
lives.
organ. I wasn't gonna let you let that slide, Philip. You said that the other day. I'm like, oh, I gotta remember that. I'm gonna have to tell him. So be an organ donor. I was gonna
Man,
try to show you my card, but I'm one of those guys. I don't exactly know what I can show and can't show on there. My little heart that
right.
says donor. But yeah, be an organ donor. You save somebody else's
Yep.
life beyond yours.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, again, we appreciate that, Greg. Thank you very much for taking that step and
Yeah.
being a organ donor. Definitely, like I said before, it's very easy. All you gotta do is check a box when you do your driver's license, and it's there.
Cool.
We are in the need for living donors. We definitely are in more need for that. Your liver rejuvenates itself, regenerates itself. So, and you have, you could live off one kidney. So why not help somebody stay a little bit longer and give them some life? So again, appreciate you all, and y'all have a great night.
All right. Thanks.
Jeez.